MultiArea Streambank project is a state-funded project. It's paid for with state revolving funds. It's a loan, and the Water and Sewer Fund is actually going to repay the money over time. It's about a $3 million project. Consists of 13,000 feet approximately of stream bank restoration. And the driver for the project, really early on, several years ago, we identified about a dozen different sites around the city where our existing sewer infrastructure was being impacted by stream erosion, stream bank erosion, and where the vegetation had washed away, and so the earth had actually washed into the stream. And in some cases, it was actually exposing sanitary sewer lines and sewer manholes, so which can be a problem, especially for sewer overflows and potentially getting clean water or creek water into the sanitary sewer line, which the city is trying to eliminate that as much as possible. So that was kind of the driver of the project. And so what it consists of is actually rebuilding the stream. So there's grading that's actually done, and it's kind of a more gradual grade, and it's an opportunity to widen the floodplain in these areas, and allows when there's stormwater runoff and flooding, it kind of widens things out, and it has less impact on the stream banks in the future. We'll go in with woody vegetation, plantings. There are features that are put into the stream called rock veins and log veins that are all natural components that are actually used to it increases habitat, water habitat, and further protects the banks. Hopefully all of these sites, these dozen sites that we're doing, will last for years to come. The city's actually done this in the past on about a half dozen projects, and we've had really good success. So the Patton Park site is very important because it's very public. It's in a park setting. So what we're doing there is there's an old a pond that tended to be muddy, really just got runoff would go into the pond and just kind of stagnate, and would result in very turbid water. What we're doing there is actually taking that pond and turning it into a stormwater wetland with the associated plants. We'll be doing some grading, and that work's scheduled to start here in a couple weeks, later on in July. And hopefully, the goal of turning it into a stormwater wetland is the wetland will actually treat the stormwater and actually remove some of the contaminants that are coming in from the area, the parking lots in the area and everything, and then treat that water before it then is released into Britton Creek. So in Patton Park, one of the additional things that we're doing there to improve water quality is actually removing the invasive species that have kind of grown up and taken over around Britton Creek. Britton Creek is the drainage, the creek that flows through Patton Park. And as part of the project, we're cleaning out the invasive species and going back with native vegetation that will hopefully increase the wildlife in the area and help bring back some of the aquatic habitat as well. The initial work in Patton Park, and the park's been under construction for several months, that has involved relocating a sewer line, a major sewer line. It's a 24-inch sewer that was, the old sewer was made out of clay, so which is very susceptible to leaking joints and cracking. So we took the opportunity, because of the other work, the stormwater work that was going on in the park, and the fact that the old sewer line was built so close to things like the pond feature and the creek, we took the opportunity to actually relay the sewer and put in better materials, PVC, which will last longer, and new sewer manholes. So all of that infrastructure went in first. It was a pretty extensive project. The stormwater work, in particular the pond and the wetland and the stream work, will now proceed probably within the next week or two and extend through most of August. So everything should be wrapped up toward the end of August, other than perhaps some of the plantings, which will take place later in the late summer, early to mid-fall, just so we're sure that the plant life will take and not get burned out because of hot late summer days. So at the Lakewood site, that drainage is called Allen Branch. So it's a blue line stream that flows into Clear Creek and is part of the Mud Creek Basin. That project consisted of well over 3,000 feet of restoration, and was the largest of the dozen projects that were done as part of the MultiArea Streambank project. And the impetus for that particular project, the city has an existing sewer line that parallels that creek, and it was really being impacted by incised bank erosion, and several of the manholes were being exposed, and there was a section of sewer that was actually being exposed in the water. You could actually see it in the side of the creek. So we took the opportunity, worked with the property owner, and got an easement in that area to rebuild the banks and meandered the stream, brought it away from the sanitary sewer, and used the opportunity to include log veins and boulder veins and native vegetation, cleared out all of the invasive vegetation. Unfortunately, there were dozens of shopping carts that had washed into that section of the stream from we assume from upstream parking areas. We took the opportunity to clean out all of that trash and other items like that, and it resulted in a very impressive site now, and it'll be even more impressive as we get the vegetation put in later this year, and then track the growth of the vegetation throughout the coming years. Eventually, we hope to extend a greenway along that same corridor at some point in the future that will connect to the larger Ocklawaha Greenway. So it'll be a really nice amenity for city residents to enjoy as they hopefully at one point are able to stroll along a greenway in that area.